made the jump when the Patriots won the Super Bowl the first time.
I don't know much of a football fan, but I can't remember what year, 2002, 2004, when the Patriots won the Super Bowl. They played the Panthers. Terry just happened to be working in Charlotte at the time, and boy, did I love it. I was kind of hoping the Bills would, make it, advance, just because they haven't for so long.
Plus,
Sometimes the remote doesn't work for Are we on yet?
I'm just getting a copy.
There we are. Good evening. Welcome to January 25th, 2022 regular selectmen's meeting. I believe we have all the selectmen in attendance. Yep, we have 3 on Zoom and 2 here. We have the town manager, the town clerk's on Zoom, we have the recreation director, and we have one of our assessors here today. Please stand with me and salute the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, everybody. First item is the approval of our January 11th minutes.
I make a motion to approve the minutes from January 11th.
We have a motion and a second. Is there no further discussion? I'll go through the rolls. Is Noah?
Yes.
Linda?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
And myself is a yes. Selectman Pendergast was absent, so I'm assuming he will be a no, or abstain. We have a first public comment. I don't believe we have any public comments. We have no public hearing tonight. Reports of committees. I'm just going to give a brief update on, we have a building committee as far as the town hall is concerned. We met back in the beginning of the year, the committee did. And then last week, Jody, the public works foreman, and my supervisor and myself did a walkthrough and around the building with a couple of representatives from Great Falls Construction. And what they've offered to do is to help the town look at our needs and our wants of what we need to do with the building. Everybody has more or less agreed that the first order of business should be securing the building envelope. We have a lot of water infiltration, which is causing mold problems with peeling paint, things like that inside. One of the quickest and easiest things we can start with is putting new gutters on the building. When they redid the roof a few years back, quite a few years back now, they'd taken the gutters off and never replaced them. That's causing a lot of water to infiltrate into the foundation. They suggested, Great Falls suggested that we chase all the drains first to make sure that the drains are clear before we hook downspouts up to them. And then they talked about waterproofing the brick. That could be as simple as a spray-on application of a waterproofing. And whether we hire that out or see if that could be done through Public Works is something we'll have to talk about in the future. And then the ADA accessibility, as far as the building itself and the restrooms and everything are concerned, there are no easy solutions as far as accessibility. We talked about chair lifts up to the second floor. They did not like the idea of putting a lift out on the back corner of the auditorium, only because of access to parking and the traffic out there. They were gonna look into different options as far as elevators for us too. And then we talked about the restrooms and the need to upgrade the existing restrooms, which are the original to 1938, and the additional of restrooms on the second and third floor to make it so the building is more usable, for the public and the people that work here. So we're gonna get we'll be meeting again in another few weeks and discussing what's going on and going from there. Department reports, we have none, no appointments, unfinished business. Anybody have anything under unfinished business? No. Town manager report.
All right, the budget schedule is upcoming in February. We'll be meeting on the 8th, 15th, and 22nd. Lisa Vargas and I will get the budget books to you hopefully by early next week, but next week at some time. We are well underway with union negotiations. We have 2 meetings under our belt and 2 more scheduled. Made some good progress today. We've had several staff and departments dealing with COVID this and last week. It's everywhere. I commend all staff that are doing their part to get us through this peak. Great job, everyone, keeping us going. Doing a fantastic job, everyone keeping us going. Thank you. The Dig a Hole Once committee met last night, and the main product for this committee is a booklet of projects and a strategy for phasing and funding projects for the downtown and village center. The town will get most of this funded through grants. The town will just pick up the tab for match funds where applicable and some engineering to get the project shovel ready. And what shovel ready means, it's getting a project to the point where all we need is funding. We got it engineered and we just need the money to construct the project. And on the other end of that spectrum is more conceptual. So through the booklet, we've got about 16 different projects identified for the village center. And we've got some projects that are shovel ready, some projects that are conceptual. We just want to be ready when more infrastructure funding comes in. We got more shovel ready projects to go. Jason, our engineer from BHB, has some updated materials. I'll send it to the board later this week. Last thing I have is Lawn Chair's 2022 concert series planning is well underway. We've been planning this thing for 2 years now, so this is some exciting news. The concerts will be held in August, and we're going to have some exciting news to share on that, so stay tuned.
Any questions for the town manager? I have a question. I'm going to talk about shovel-ready projects. Is the bridges, the Diamond Hill Road Bridge and the Ritalin Road Bridge? Do we have funds available through the recovery or the funds for replacing those at all, or?
Not really is the first answer, but what is coming is it seems like DOT is going to start funding the projects to replace bridges, to start funding that 50-50 initiative. For the Diamond Hill Bridge, my recommendation is we put a bond out for that. It's $750,000. It's a real safety hazard at this point. And we will look for that 50-50 funding. So I guess it'd be up to the $750,000. And if DOT funds the program, we'd only need half of that. The Ritalin Road Bridge would be a good discussion point. Not sure if that one rises to the top of priority in terms of safety needs and transportation purposes, but definitely interested in what the thoughts are for.
Well, it is, the Ritalin Road Bridge, as you said, isn't the top priority. But if we are available to take advantage of a 50-50 split, it may be the right time to do that.
Absolutely.
So we'll just, like you said, we'll just have to keep, seeing what comes down the road for it.
Yep.
So. All right. Selectmen Communications, I don't really have anything, Patty did ask me to give a couple of, public notices here. The Berwick Planning Board have a public hearing and a site work for Enzo Benzo Specialty Donuts, which sounds good to me so far. That will be Thursday, February 3rd, 2021 at 6:30 p.m. Oh, the site walk is February 3rd at 5 p.m. Location of 747 Portland Street. And then the other public notice is the planning board will hold a public hearing for the site plan review for Great Falls Construction's The Edge at Berwick, Maine, and that will be on Thursday, February 3rd, 2022 at 6:30. That's what I have for those. That brings us to accounts payable. As we have a payroll warrant number 44 for January 20th, 2022 for the amount of $70,890.51. We have a account payable warrant number 46 for January 25th, 2022 for the amount of $248,207.82. And we have a payroll warrant number 45 for January 27th, 2022 for the amount of $73,466.75. I'll make a motion that we pay our bills.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. If there's no further discussion, I'll go through the rolls. Is Mark?
Yes.
Noah?
Yes.
Linda?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
And myself is a yes. Thank you. And Patty will need people to come in to sign the warrant, because there are only two of us here today.
I'll stop by tomorrow, Patty.
Thank you, Noah.
That
Thank
brings it-
you. And I'll need one, no, that would be it. Thank you.
Under new business, we have Angela O'Connor regarding a comfort dog. I expected the puppy to be here.
Nah, he's home.
Well, I think we should postpone it. Why don't you do the introduction and
Sure.
and tell everybody what's going on here,
Sure.
James?
Angela has brought forward a proposal to integrate a purebred trained comfort dog starting as a puppy. So tonight's about Angela proposing the program and then getting feedback from the board, and that can help writing a policy and procedures going forward. And like we discussed last meeting, for comfort dogs, for pet policy, for canines, with any just an overall animal policy. So with that, I defer to Angela to give us the overview of the program.
So I've been dealing with a lot of COVID issues within our youth programs. So I haven't been able to pull together a presentation like I've been wanting to. But I did hear the last select board meeting, and I wanted to address your concerns about liability, the cost, all of that stuff. The cost is solely on me. It has been my choice to train him as a comfort therapy dog. It's something that I've always wanted to do. I had a 15-year-old yellow lab from the same breeder that I have Bauer from that passed away in August, and I never was able to train him due to the fact that I was just moving around too much. But I have done my research. The people that I got him from are 80% of her labs are therapy dogs, and so they're bred for temperament. And he starts his first road to being a therapy dog on February 21st. There's only 2 AKC certified organizations in the state, and we're actually going to be doing our class with Sakurapa Obedience Club. And like I said, they're AKC members. And as soon as I enroll him, which he's already enrolled, we actually have liability insurance already towards that program. And I will also be purchasing extra liability for him as well. Some of the things that we would like to get him into, he's got to train so many hours to become a therapy dog too. So I have to try to get him in the spaces that he's going to be working in. I have to get him accustomed to being in the office that I'm going to be in. I've talked to Sharon Kelly because she has done this in the past with dogs that have come into her building for reading buddies.
Belichick.
Huh?
Belichick.
Is that what?
That was a dog's
that was the
name.
dog.
Belichick. Yeah.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
She had 2 dogs, and so she sent me the pictures of them. And so we would like to try to implement that as well. And then also to utilize Bauer for our youth mentorship program. I had brought that up with the NRPA in my meeting that I had with them yesterday, and then again this morning. And they're super excited because they've never had anybody implement a comfort dog into any of their programs for their grants. And they're really looking forward to that as well. I'm sure you guys have a gazillion other questions. Oh, and sorry, I always do this. And I've also connected with Melissa McWilliams. She won the AKC 2020 Therapy Dog of the Year award, and she's from Maine, which is awesome. And she works at the Preble Street Teen Center and brings Monson, who is her Dalmatian, to the Preble Street Teen Center. She also goes to Shakopee Valley High School, middle school. She also goes to Logan Place in Portland. That's a mental health place that deals with addiction. And she also goes to the Gorham House, and she's worked with UNE students as well. So we're connected, and she did her training through Shakopee or Sakurapa as well. So that's how I got the connection. And I'm really looking forward to working with her because she's just, the stuff that she's done with Monson, who is her dog, is absolutely amazing.
Any questions for Angela?
I don't have questions. Like I said, I'm all for it, and I've seen AKC, comfort dogs. And I don't know, Angela, just, for the record, if you can kind of explain, you want to put it into a youth program, and for those that might actually listen in, like what the benefit is for those that are dealing with addiction. I've seen them used for children who have lost a parent, grief counseling, and what that could do, what you think that could do in the community.
Yeah, it's pretty powerful. It's just the anxiety level that these kids present. Having an animal around reduces their anxiety and allows them to feel that comfort. He's not a service dog, and so they got to make that clear. He's not a service dog. He's not a canine that the police department would have. None of that stuff. It's a completely different certification. But it's basically because of it's a comfort dog. It comforts a child, it comforts an adult, it just helps bring that anxiety level down and allowing them to feel okay in the position that they're in. I'm sure there's more ways to explain it. Grieving children, grieving teens, because dogs show unconditional love, it is a benefit to have a pet around, especially a comfort dog, to be able to just bring the kid from being way up here to down here so you can have a conversation with them. When you're dealing with kids that have mental illnesses or are dealing with addiction, it makes them feel like they're being welcomed, or that their addiction is not the face of them, but it brings them to a point of where they can feel like you can relate to them on a better level. I don't think I explained that well, but I can explain it better. And I can grab articles too, if you guys want, and share them with you guys.
Any other questions?
Yeah.
Yep, Angela, I think the whole program is a great idea, and I'm glad you're introducing it. Just a couple of things.
Yeah.
You keep talking about this as being great for the kids, and I
Yes.
absolutely agree, but you're gonna be training them inside the offices of the town hall, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Offices and at the field, and we're walking around. Like, I go out quite a bit and walk around the area. I go around my area in Freeport. There's kids all around. I've introduced them to little kids. I've introduced them to teens, seniors. It's all ages, and it's all ages. A perfect example is the other day I was here on a Friday, and there was a man that came to the town office door, and he was so upset that town office was closed. And he started yelling at me, which they typically do. And then Bauer came out from behind me, and he was like, "Oh my God, is this yours?" And he just completely changed everything. His whole demeanor, he was amazing. And then he started to talk to me about, that he lived in town for such a long time and his whole story. So it's pretty amazing how that just happens. And he was a vet too. And so he was telling me stories, and it was a precious moment for sure.
Yeah, dogs can be an incredible icebreaker. So
Yeah.
the other I have three type questions. So you said the liability comes in as soon as you start the training.
Yeah, it starts as soon as you enroll. And he's enrolled.
Cross-checked with with the town's vehicle insurance. So if you're transporting him anywhere, I mean, liability is if the dog is aggressive, but what about if he's in the car and you get into a small, accident or something like that? Is he still going to be covered under that?
Yes, he is. Because I've worked with kids for such a long time, I have the highest insurance that I can possibly pay for on a vehicle because I've transported kids. So that's already all covered.
Perfect. And then I'm sure that town manager is going to deal with this, but there should be some sort of policy in place.
Mm-hmm.
And when it was first introduced, there was a comment made about the majority of people are very excited and happy for the dog to be coming on board, but there was a couple that were hesitant.
Yeah.
Have you followed up with any of the folks who may be hesitant just to have additional conversations? Not that it's going to prevent it, but just
I'm not sure who was hesitant about it, so I'm more than happy to address them. And I'm more than happy to.
Program. Yeah, it sounds like it's going to be so beneficial for the town all the way around.
Yeah.
People, the gentleman who approached the town hall, but to make sure it kicks off on a positive note, make sure that we have addressed any concerns people have.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Because I think this is a great idea. We just need to make sure we take care of all those things and have a policy in place.
Yeah. Yeah, and we've already checked with everybody in town to make sure that nobody's allergic. And I know that was a concern. That was one of the first things I had asked. So we got that one cleared. And I know that Patty's super excited because I don't know if she wants to speak on her GA component of how it could help benefit them as well.
Yeah.
And Patty loves Bauer and has been trying to help with that aspect too.
I think that's great. I think, and the only reason I emphasize the policy is because you have to have a policy in place that establishes this is, the type of dog and the reason why it's there.
Yeah.
So that it doesn't get, I say this from experience. So the next thing you know, someone doesn't bring in their pet, hamster and say, oh, this is this. A policy kind of prevents that conversation from occurring and just kind of keeps things in line.
Yeah.
But I think this is a great idea. Yeah.
And he'll be going to doggy daycare too. Once or twice a week as well. And they're going to help implement all of that stuff as well at doggy daycare. The people there are all trained professionally, and yeah, and we're pretty excited to be able, we get our first walkthrough on Sunday. So I'm pretty excited to see the layout of the land that they have. It's in North Yarmouth, in the middle of nowhere. So I'm pretty excited to see what it's gonna be like there for him.
Well, this will be, I think this is a great idea, a great program.
It needs to happen, and I've talked to Patty about this on many occasions because she deals with GA. I deal with the kids and I deal with a lot of people in the community, and there's such an incredible need for everything in this community, and there needs to be more positive and we get these poor transient kids who are going from back and forth and the foster kids that we have in the area, and the seniors who are living by themselves and then come, it's happy all around.
Yeah,
Training
anyway,
him, on the other hand, is a little difficult.
Yeah, but I have no doubt he'll accomplish that. But yeah, anything that we can do to reduce anxiety, there's just so much of it around. I think this is definitely a positive thing for the town. We just need to square off all the,
Yeah.
specific.
And I don't know if Patty wants to jump in. And Patty, do you want to say anything about the GA?
Yeah, I think you covered it. I mean, even when we have children in the lobby with their parents who are stuck here for half an hour doing town business, Bauer will come out and the kids are thrilled to see him. The parents too, because it takes the kids' attention away. Yeah, he's been here, a few times, and it's been great every time. It even helps with staff morale. Definitely. Just to see little Bauer walking through, everyone gets excited, and he's a very sweet puppy.
He says his hellos to everybody.
Yes, he does. Yeah, and like Angela said, she's out walking him. She meets people out in front of town hall, and they all approach because the puppy's there. So it's been nothing but a positive experience. I have treats on my desk waiting for Bauer to come visit.
So it sounds like all we really need now is to finalize the policy and get everything all squared off. But
I'll get some language started and send it off to legal for review and have something going.
Okay, I can also reach out to Melissa to see what her, I'm sure she has a policy in place for all the places that she goes to,
That'd be helpful, thank you. Yeah.
especially the school district that she goes to as well.
very good.
Thank you.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Thanks, Angela.
You're welcome. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
So next we have our pandemic policy. Again.
Yes.
What has the federal government changed on us lately?
Well, the OSHA mandate is
Right.
on pause. It sounds, Linda probably can say it better than me, but I believe they're dropping the ETS and maybe it's done indefinitely or they're trying a different route. But for now,
They're
it's,
trying an approach. They dropped the ETS, I think it was either today or yesterday.
Yep.
They're gonna go at it from a different angle, so I'm sure it's gonna be resurfaced here, shortly. They're just gonna open it up to more public input prior to trying to implement it. And again, it will face a whole another war of political opposition, but I think right now, I looked at it, it seems pretty reasonable right now. Hopefully by the time the next OSHA policy comes out or attempted policy comes out, a lot of this hopefully will be behind us or in the
Yeah,
end
we'll be
stages.
into an endemic at that point. Yeah.
Yeah, it's early, but we had a pretty big surge coming out of November, December, and even the 1st of January. But indications are definitely not out of it yet. Absolutely not.
No.
But the numbers are starting to drop, and hopefully, the 5 days that you have in here, it all seems to me. I looked it over. It seems very reasonable for mitigation.
Any other questions or comments?
No.
the one piece, I added one other piece to language, if we could have this up for approval as amended. is just on section 7B. Employees who test positive on day 5 may return to work with a, or employees who test positive on day 5. I just put in a sentence in there about being able to test again on day 6 through 9, and if they get a negative test, they can come back. Because I think the way it read was if they test positive on day 5, they're automatically out for another 5 days. I just think it just makes sense. Once you're negative, you can come back.
Okay.
I think that's the intention. It's just that's the way it read.
Right, and I agree with that. If they test negative, then they should be able to come back whether it's day 7, 8, or 9. But who's going to be responsible for that testing? Is it going to be the town or is it going to be the employee?
It's right now it's the employee, and I think keeping it the responsibility of the employee. For I mean, the home test would be okay. I used the York County at the Marshalls, old Marshalls. If we can, maybe we can refine it and tie it to that program, maybe, because I'm just not sure about the resources they have. But I will say, I dropped off my test at 2 o'clock, and I had my results back the next day by 9 a.m. for a PCR test. So that was pretty incredible.
Yeah, they do have a pretty good, pretty quickly turnaround. We use it pretty exclusively in the county, and we put it out there to municipalities. As far as incorporating that directly to the policy, that's sort of a temporary thing while we're going through mitigation.
Right.
So I don't know, I mean, we can definitely steer employees up there if they so choose to, while it's open. But I don't know if you should connect it to the policy because there's no guarantee of how long that's going to be open and available.
That makes sense, yeah. I think in the short term, it's confirm. I mean, it's nice to confirm a positive home test. Just,
Yeah, absolutely.
Any other questions or comments? So, we need a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the policy as amended.
No, second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? If not, I'll go through the roll. Mark?
Yes.
Noah?
Yes.
Linda?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
And myself is a yes. Thank you. That brings us quitclaim deeds, abatements and supplementals. We have an abatement appeal tonight. We have Paul and Karen double teaming us tonight.
All right, good evening, everybody. I don't know if you remember this, but this was a parcel, 5.4 acre parcel on Ritalin Road, that we denied an abatement for because it was untimely. It wasn't presented within the 185 days of commitment. So as a result, on the property owners appealed to the select board on October 26th of 2021. And at that meeting, the select board again denied the request for an abatement. So they have followed up and have filed with the York County Commissioners. This is basically it's an appeal based on your decision. It's not an abatement or an assessing decision because we don't have any authority to grant an abatement within, after that 1 year time period. So that's why he had to go to the select board in order to try to get an approval through that route. And since that was denied, he's going to the county commissioners. So I'm not sure. We're not arguing about value here. We're just arguing that it was untimely and that he, had the opportunity to file and did not. So I guess we're looking for some guidance on how you want to handle it. If you want to, we can certainly go before the York County. You could hire an attorney, or the town attorney could represent the select board. In this case, they're anticipating to hear it on March 2nd of 2022. So I'm sure if you wanted to get the attorney involved, they may have to extend that. But right now, that's when it's tentatively scheduled. So that, again, I don't know any questions you may have, but we're looking some guidance on how you wanna, how you wanna proceed.
I remember this clearly, and as you said, there wasn't it's not a question of the money, the monetary value, it's a question of timing.
Yep.
And it's very clearly written that you have a certain amount of time to do these appeals, and they failed to do that. I'm not willing to give this up. If we do it this time, it's gonna set the precedent for
Yep.
the next person and the next person. So we've done this before, and I don't wanna go down that road.
Exactly.
Yeah, I agree.
Any other comments, questions from the selectmen?
No, I mean, I guess the only question is, do you want to involve the town attorney to represent the town council or the select board in this manner? Or do you want to, do you want us to go up there and do it as the,
I'm trying to remember,
assessing agent?
we went before the county commissioners last year, over the storage facility on Route 4. I can't remember, did we have the attorneys for that one, do you know?
No, we did that.
Yeah, I thought we had, yeah.
Yeah, but that was an abatement, so I mean, I said, this is really not an abatement, he's appealing the select board decision.
Right,
And I guess that's where the position comes in.
so,
Right, and I think it comes down to, the policy is pretty clear about the time frame. So there's really there's not really a legal challenge that we would need to bring the attorney in for. This is the time frame you have to appeal. Chose not to do it, you're outside the boundaries, and as long as we can demonstrate that those boundaries exist, I have no issue with you guys going up and representing.
I mean, I'm in the same boat. I mean, as I recall, I mean, going through this, that was exactly what we brought up was, what were we, almost 3 years from when, right? Was there 2 years? So they were well outside too. I don't even think it was just a couple months. I think it was well outside that time frame to appeal.
Yeah, it
Can
wasn't even
remind me.
close.
Right, we did abate them for what we could. Karen, am I correct in saying that?
Yeah, so we were notified of the error in May of 2021,
Right.
so we had time to make the correction for this year's commitment. So for this year, it's assessed as it should be. So it was just 2 years. It was, the first year was 2019 when we did the revaluation, and then 2021. Those are the 2 years that they're contesting.
I'm reading through the company paperwork I have here. And towards the bottom is the cost to defend the abatement appeal, $1,500 to $1,800 is, I can't imagine our lawyer would be charging us that much to defend it. Is it an estimated 10 to 12 hours of preparation, hearing, and travel is, it sounds like a lot of money for me to spend on something that's pretty clear cut. So,
Well, I mean, that's the MRI rate for the appeal. I mean, we, based on the contract for appeals, I mean, it's an additional fee of $150 per hour. I estimated 10 to 12 hours, it could be less than that. But that was my, so that's just an estimate to go there, present the case at the meeting, prepare for the case. He said that basically it's a rough estimate. And if, I mean, we're only talking here about a $1,500 one-time assessment, basically, our bait. So if we go up there and win, that's fine, it's kind of a wash. But if we go up there and lose, then you could be out in, the additional money of what the abatement is plus our cost.
right.
That was the only, I said, I don't,
Right, it's a chance you take.
yeah, exactly.
I don't have a lot of faith in the county commissioners siding with the towns. I haven't had a lot of experience with them finding for towns and cities when it comes to things like this. Like I said, it's pretty straightforward. It's almost as if, the town manager and I could go up there and defend this case, it seems like. But
I mean, that's certainly an option, I mean, and we could certainly, we could assist with that.
Where is the, yeah, I think we could do it.
It's,
You know, it is,
Okay,
well, you're talking about March 2nd for a hearing date tentatively scheduled.
yeah,
I'd like to, table this for this time and just have the town manager talk to our lawyer and, and get some more information, because, it seems to me that it's like we said, it's a pretty clear-cut case, but
it is.
I don't have a lot of faith in the county commissioners siding with the town. That's been my experience in the past.
And, I mean, he may have a little more persuasion as far as case law and that sort of stuff as well.
When's our next meeting?
The 8th,
The 8th?
it still gives you 21 days.
Yeah, I don't know, what's anybody else's, ideas, opinions?
yeah, I can reach out to legal and see what they say for, advice or,
Yeah,
That sounds like a good idea.
Yeah.
Just take it until next meeting and come back with some legal guidance.
yeah, I'm not willing to roll over for this guy, as we said, a lot of what we do here, it sets precedents, for future boards and future actions, and, I don't wanna be the one that sets it in motion that we start, just rolling over for these people, so.
that's why on one hand, it breaks down to the procedural argument, or, there's the risk of, okay, we could spend, we could still lose in court, but it's still holding up that procedure that I think it is valuable to uphold.
So is, put it on hold for now?
Sure, yep.
Yeah, I'd say move it to next meeting after the advisement of legal with James.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Okay, thank you.
Good night.
So we'll take care of that. Second public comment is we have none. We have no executive session. Anybody have any other business or non-agenda items to bring up?
No, I just want to say, kudos to our public works, employees right now, because the last couple weeks it's been brutally cold. It's been, freezing rain to snow to rain, and, whether it's the crews that are out taking care of the roads, or, I said it before, being at the transfer station this past weekend and getting those guys they're out there smiling, they're out there helping everybody that's coming through for town. So as a resident, I appreciate it, and, obviously sitting up here, it's definitely something that doesn't go unnoticed. Those guys are really doing a great job.
Yeah, actually, Tom, there's one thing I do when you're just talking about the weather, is I saw on social media a bunch of people inquiring about getting salt from the town.
Salt and
I
sand.
know that we have a designated area, it's very clearly marked. I think it works great. I've gone in there a couple of times.
Got some this
But
morning.
I was just wondering about, is there anything maybe we could put up, or is it already up at the town hall or something? So that people know they can go in there during certain hours to get salt or sand?
I believe it's on the town website, as I've seen
Oh,
it there.
okay, all right.
I want to make a couple comments about that, because somebody did bring that up to me about the salt and sand. They were complaining that they couldn't go into the big salt shed. And a couple different reasons for that. One is liability purposes. But the reason we changed policies several years ago is that we had a problem with contractors backing their trucks up with their sanders to the salt shed and filling it up, and then being paid to go spread it on commercial property. That's when we instituted the new policy of 2 buckets at a time. And people are asking me about the time and whether it's only open during the hours that Public Works is working, but no, anytime that Public Works is out working the road, salting, sanding, weekends, nights, the gate's open. You can go, just be attentive to the equipment, be careful of what you're doing in there. Most weekends, if there's a storm, it's usually open. A lot of times, one of the other crew will be in town doing something, and the gate will be open. So, there's no set hours particularly, but you can figure if the town trucks are out salting and sanding, it's available to be using.
Got it.
So,
Yeah.
all right. Any other? Nope. We have a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
A second. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right. Thank you,
Aye.
everybody.
Have a good
Thank
night.
you.
Have a good night.
Thank you, take care.
Good night.
I'll be in, you, okay?
Thanks, Noah.
No problem.
One of the questions I didn't bring up for the pandemic policy that I wanted to run by you. Close contacts, right?
Yeah.
Should there be a distinction between close contact and someone in your house getting it? Or
Not necessarily.